The Mahabharata is the longest ballad written in human history. Apart from being a religious text, it in itself is fascinating. The poem has it all, from action to drama to suspense. It has compelling elements that will draw any mythological buff to it. Gods, demigods, demons, heroes, heroines, fierce battles, even anti heroes. People who get angry for no apparent reason and might give one a curse. The occasional game of dice, which, by the way, if you lose, you will end up with a 13-year long exile and shall need to spend 1 year incognito, and many more. Today, we are going to discuss one such story from the epic. The Pandavas were a group of 5 demigod brothers, namely Yudhishthir, the son of Yam, the god of death, Bhim, the son of Vayu, the wind god, Arjun, the son of Indra, the king of heavens and the god of rain and thunder, Nakul and Sahadev, the sons of the Ashwini twins, the gods of medicine. So the Pandavas and their wife, Draupadi, and yes, I say wife because they all were married to the same women. Long story. They had a rough time of it. They had to serve a 13-year long exile and spend a year incognito. That's why you should never play Ludo with wrong people. This was because their cousin brothers, the Kauravas, wanted the throne of the Kuru kingdom for themselves. So the Pandavas returned from their exile and demanded back their kingdom. But the Kauravas won't budge, and so they fought each other in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Soon, all the kingdoms of India were forced to pick up sides. The Kauravas had a bigger army, but fortunately for the Pandavas, Lord Krishna was on their side. Krishna was the 8th incarnation of Vishnu and is regarded by many as the ultimate soul. It was like having God on your side. Long story short, the Pandavas won the war with, of course, heavy losses. Yudhishthir became the emperor of all India and ruled with prosperity and peace for about 36 years. 36 long peaceful years after the Pandavas won back their kingdom from their brothers in the massive Mahabharata war. There was an announcement in the prestigious court of Yudhishthir that a war had erupted near the island city of Dwarka, the capital of the Yadava Confederation, and many Yadavas had been killed. This was the Yadava civil war. Many people don't know that the Kurukshetra war wasn't the only war in Mahabharata. The Mosul Parv of Mahabharata gives a detailed account of a destructive civil war that occurred between the Yadavas, which resulted in the destruction of one of the earliest republics, the deluge of the great city of Krishna, the renunciation of the Pandava brother and their wife, Krishna's death, and indirectly, the commencing of the last epoch, Kali Yuga. The Pandavas were shocked. They knew that the Yadavas were headed by Lord Krishna, who was the 8th incarnation of Vishnu. They could not bring themselves to believe that the wise Krishna would allow his brethren to fight among themselves. What they didn't realize was that it was out of Krishna's hand to control the war. It was imminent. It had been decided well before. But how come? The grand scheme of the destruction of the Yadavas had begun in the full court of the Kuru kingdom when Yudhishthir was crowned the emperor. The blindfolded Queen Gandhari overcome sorrow and anger upon losing her sons in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, declared Krishna as the mastermind and schemer of the war. True, Krishna had not tried to stop the war when he could, and instead encouraged Arjun to fight his own evil brothers. But he had done it for the betterment of his countrymen and the rest of the world. Nonetheless, Gandhari cursed him that just like her family had been destroyed in a war between themselves, his family and people too would suffer and die in a civil war. Krishna accepted the curse, as he knew the pain of a mother when she lost her beloved sons. He should know he's got 2 pair of parents. And now the curse had come to life. The king Yudhishthir asked for details and was provided for. Apparently, a group of sages including Vishwamitra, Durvasa, Vasisht and Narad were visiting Dwarka for an audience with Krishna and other leaders of the clan. Sambha, a not so bright son of Lord Krishna, along with his friends, decided to pull a mischief on the sages. He dressed up as a pregnant woman and reached the sages with his company. They seemed like him too. He then asked the sages whether he would deliver a boy or a girl, again not too bright. The sages were enraged when they saw through the deception, but they got a little carried away and cursed the foolish Sambha. Neither boy nor girl, you shall born an iron rod that will bring doom upon your entire race. This just got dark. The son of Krishna, both afraid, as he should have been before messing up things for himself and his family, and ashamed of what he had done, went to Chief Ugrasena, the maternal uncle of Krishna, asking what he should do. The chief ordered him to have the rod powdered and thrown into the sea. Later on, when the Yadavas are at the pilgrimage at Prabhasa, present-day Somnath, an argument breaks out between the drunken clans about which side committed more crimes in the Mahabharata war. The Yadva warrior picks up iron rod from the shore, which had mutated from the powdered pieces of iron rod that Sambha had given birth to. Then they started attacking each other with lethal blows, and soon everyone who was fighting is dead, except Krishna and Daruka. Balram had survived as he had left the Prabhasa earlier. Krishna orders Daruka to go to Hastinapur and inform the Pandavas about what had happened and ask them to come to rescue the women and children. Krishna himself returns to the capital and consoles his birth parent, Vasudev and Devaki. He returns to find that Balram has renounced the world and left his mortal life. Lord Krishna too, weary of the mortal realm, decides that it is his time for him to die and take his rightful place in Vaikuntha. Far away from there, a hunter named Jara finds a piece of metal in a fish's mouth that he has caught. This metal is actually a piece of Sambha's iron rod that could not be powdered and was swallowed by a fish. The hunter sharpens this metal and makes it into an arrowhead. Later on, when he is hunting, he takes this arrow with him. Krishna was meditating in the same forest where Jara was hunting. The hunter sees Krishna's left foot in the bushes and mistakes it for an deer's eye. He takes aim and fires the arrow. On coming near his prey, he finds the deity severely injured. He touches his feet in due reverence and in realization of his mistake. The Supreme Soul comforted him and ascended upwards, filling the entire sky with splendor. Soon, Arjun reaches the coast to take the women and children, but to no avail. Just as our master left the world, the island city of Dwarka receded below the waters, taking with it the despaired families of the martyred Yadavas. Arjun managed to save some of the great-grandchildren of the son of Devaki, whom he took under his tutelage. The Pandava brothers, Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul and Sahadev, and their wife, the beautiful Draupadi, tired of the violence they had experienced in their lives, decided that it was their time for their renunciation. Soon, they left for the forest, leaving the throne to the young and bright Parikshit. Krishna was the only person preventing Kali Yuga, the dark age, from arriving. When he left the world, Kali, the demonic personification of the last epoch, felt safe to enter the earthly domain as there was no one left to counter him. As soon as the offspring of Adharma stepped into this world, evil has had a vice-like grip, which can catch even the most virtuous of men and take them down to the road of chaos. Thanks for watching. We hope you liked the video. If you thought that this video was informative, then share this video to as many people as possible. If you wanna stick around for more such videos, then make sure to subscribe our channel down below. And don't forget to like the video.